The Final Fantasy franchise need no introduction. In some ways, we can say that Square's masterpiece, right from the first chapter, transformed the video game from a simple pastime into a much more multifaceted experience. The visual and psychological characterization of the characters, as well as the legendary soundtracks, are still remembered and celebrated by fans all over the world today. It is not unexpected, then, that the 16th chapter of this great epic, created almost 35 years after the first, is one of the most anticipated titles of 2023. This is why Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster is the ideal chance to relive or rediscover the beginnings of a classic series that has enchanted countless generations of players. To fully comprehend this Pixel Remaster technique, simply take its term literally. It is, in essence, a remastered edition in which great care has been taken to respect the source material in all its grandeur, which is made up of pixels. To better capture and update the spirit of the original chapters, two great masters were involved who contributed to making the saga immortal: Kazuko Shibuya, who oversaw the visual sector of the first episodes, and Nobuo Uematsu, the legendary composer who was able to repurpose his first, iconic, scores. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster arose from the desire to provide users with a one-of-a-kind collection of all the classics created by Square, which had received varying quality ports over the years, published at various times and on various platforms. Although there are significant qualitative differences between the various titles in this compilation, the tendency towards a homogeneous style is easily discernible. The first chapters have received the most substantial updating work, while the most recent ones have a style that is in all respects similar to the SNES counterpart, albeit with due differences related primarily to the effects of the various attacks. The new sprites are very tasty and ooze personality from every pore, attesting to the original designer's meticulous effort. The ability to experience same clarity and quality even at high resolutions will be a tremendous treat for longtime enthusiasts' eyes. But that's not all. After some user concerns over the font used in the PC version of these Pixel remasters, the console edition includes the option to select one from the SNES period, essentially ending the dispute. The soundtrack was given an even more respectful approach. In reality, the console version will be able to dynamically change its aesthetic, simply transitioning from chiptune to remastered variations. The switch will be instantaneous and will occur via the game menu, allowing users to make the change without disrupting the entertaining flow. This collection also includes significant optional gameplay adjustments that make even the most challenging titles playable by gamers who are unfamiliar with the genre. In reality, the ability to change the values of experience and money gained from battles is impressive, comparable to what happened with the remastered editions of Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden. Here is our review of Persona 3 and 4. There is also the option of deleting all random battles to allow for more open and less frustrating exploring. We, for one, recommend employing this option sparingly, as it would deprive the adventurous groups of the necessary experience to fight the numerous bosses. In short, the console edition differs significantly from the PC version due to player feedback, and is thus a superior version for all intents and purposes. Even at the gameplay level, some minor balance adjustments have been performed. The alternative auto battle mode will automate some of the more repetitious aspects of the conflicts, making the farming required to develop our characters less tedious. Finally, the player will have the choice of tailoring the level of difficulty to their specific demands or reliving the journey in its entirety. It is thus a re-edition of incalculable encyclopedic value, with a gallery mode full of concept art and sketches by legendary designer Yoshitaka Amano, a jukebox to listen to the numerous musical pieces present in the various chapters of the saga, a large bestiary of creatures encountered during the adventure, and a revised and significantly more intuitive user interface than the original. The SNES sound engine is like a box of crayons to a musician. Nobuo Uematsu used these crayons to paint the Sistine Chapel in Final Fantasy VI. Jeremy Johns. Despite the graphical and gameplay changes present on the inside of this remaster, the unprecedented ability to listen to the saga's most iconic songs in a new version constitutes, in our opinion, the true gem of this collection of classics. Every piece in the 6 titles was personally overseen by the famed Japanese musician. The scope of this operation is arguably understated, while not without nostalgia, chiptune was a significant expressive barrier for NES/SNES gamers. In truth, the authors were forced to simplify their musical ideas in order to meet the technical constraints of the period. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster gives us access to the sound material in an even more pristine and direct manner. For the first time, we can listen to the compositions just as they were imagined by the author's head. The remixed music so aims to stress even more the most memorable moments of the various chapters, with obsessive attention. The aria di mezzo character included in the 6th chapter, which is great testament to the aforementioned, is clearly the spearhead of the offer. Not only has the scene been totally redesigned graphically, a treatment reserved only for the most memorable sequences, but the song has been completely sung and localized in other languages, including Italian. Without giving too much away, we anticipate that one of the individuals in the scene will find himself performing on stage despite not being a professional singer due to various vicissitudes. This aspect is properly reproduced in the restored soundtrack. In reality, all of the opera's characters will sing with a fixed lyric voice, with the exception of one who, for story purposes, is not a true singer and hence will perform in a different register. It's clear to see how these measures add an unprecedented brushstroke to the Final Fantasy series' historic chapters, allowing you to appreciate it from new and beautiful perspectives. We highly recommend the updated soundtrack to even the most ardent fans of the original chiptune, possibly using the real-time switch to learn how certain electronic impulses are magically turned into strings, chords, and guitar riffs. This compilation's individual chapters are available for a reduced price. Recovering the complete tale is a sentimental and rediscovery operation that we encourage to anybody, especially in light of the 16th chapter. In any event, it must be noted that, despite a commendable restoration and remastering effort, not all of the titles in the series have aged well. For example, the first Final Fantasy features a fairly linear advancement system and a narrative premise that explicitly prioritizes heroes over evil from the start. Even the experiments and amusing devices of the subsequent episodes, such as the statistics system to be improved individually or the fluid class mechanism of the 3rd chapter, do not always appear well thought out. The average quality of the audiovisual remasters achieves high levels, although this does not imply that each episode received the same degree of care. In fact, special attention has been paid to the saga's most beloved titles, such as the 4th and notably the 6th Final Fantasy, which are both the most sophisticated and the most current in terms of gameplay. If you prefer to focus on a few chapters rather than the full collection, we recommend the titles indicated above, which are excellent in a combat system that has clearly profited from the introduction and development of the ATB, Active Time Battle, system. Not to add the presence of stories that would make most modern games pale in comparison. Final Fantasy VI, in particular, is confirmed as the most fun episode for a modern audience and the best remaster of this collection.